Hi everyone, welcome back to Reinventing Me at 60. I'm Roxanne, and today I want to talk about a personal story of why I decided to retire at 58. It wasn't a decision that came lightly. It was after lots of reflection, soul searching, and the tough realization that I just didn't want to be there. There was more for me in my life. And I decided it was time to retire. If you've ever felt drained, stuck, or you just weren't making a difference anymore, I think you might relate to this story of mine and enjoy this one. So grab a coffee and let's get started. I started my career in the government a number of decades ago. Sounds like forever, but it was a couple of decades. And I started just full of energy and excitement, optimism. I was going to join the workforce and make a difference. And I felt like I was for the first while. And it was a great job to have. I was married, I had a young family. I had my young family while I was employed with the government, and everything was going smoothly. But as the years went by, things began to shift. And so did I. One of the biggest challenges for me was feeling drained. As anybody can attest, government employees, it's a lot of roll with it, had a rhythm to it. Lots of paper pushing. That's not a myth, it's true. Lots of rules, regulations, and there's rules to follow in getting a job done or a task done. And at first that was great. It was honestly, especially as a new mom, I knew what I had to do when I got up in the morning. I'd go to work and I would do my tasks, and they were simple. It was very routine, very rope-like, and that was okay. But after a while, I would wake up and think, do I really want to do this again? It's the same thing I've been doing day after day, year after year. And I just felt like, honestly, I felt like I was getting dumber. That might sound ridiculous, but it was like I started thinking I was going to make a change, and I wasn't. I wasn't anymore. I was feeling very stuck in this job. And how do you leave a job that has an excellent pension, excellent benefits, and I just kept going, being stuck, and slowly getting more unhappy. I'm sure many of you might feel the same way. Maybe I hope I'm not the only one that's been in a career like that. When you work hard and you just feel like you're spinning your wheels, that's where I truly found myself. Just spinning my wheels. Another thing that was starting to really weigh on me was the lack of creativity, the lack of just doing the same thing, and nobody wanted to change how they were doing things. It was, this is the way it must be done. And that just got tiring after a while. It was like, I have some great ideas, but they just weren't heard because there was so much bureaucracy, so much paper pushing, that things just weren't getting heard or changed until it became an issue in the newspaper. Then we would have to make a change. And it was like all steam ahead. It was just full force ahead to make that change. And sometimes I didn't feel like it was always the most thoughtful decision to move forward with. And that I found really troubling and difficult to handle. There were many days I'd sit at my desk and think, this just isn't me. This isn't what I'm capable of doing or really wanting to do. I just wasn't enjoying it. And I just would persevere. I think the hardest part for me was the growing sense that I wasn't making the kind of impact that I wanted to. And when I started, like I said, I was full of optimism. I was so excited to make changes. But but over but over time, that didn't really happen. It just, the changes weren't the changes that aligned with my values and my beliefs, and that really started to weigh on me. It wasn't that the work wasn't important. It was. It just didn't feel right with me, and I just felt like I just felt like I was another cog in the machine. And for me, it just wasn't enough anymore. Another turning point for me was a change in the workplace culture. As the years passed, there was a shift in the team dynamics. We didn't work the same way. Younger employees would come in and they would bring fresh ideas and new ideas and just a different approach to work. And that's all great. Like, don't get me wrong. But I, I appreciated their enthusiasm, but the cultural shift changed, and it made me feel very out of sync with what I was doing. The values and the pace of work changed, the environment changed, and there was a noticeable difference in the emphasis on rapid innovation. Quick, 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 hurry, hurry, hurry. And there was less on the hierarchy of structure, which was a serious contrast to the more traditional methods that I've spent decades in. That change was very difficult for me, and it was just hard to keep going with that. I loved my younger colleagues. I thought they were brilliant, they were great, and I learned lots from them. But I also at times I felt disrespected. I had spent so much time building rapport with outside groups and communities, and it just was, when the younger generation came into the workforce, it just felt like it was for naught, and everything changed. And I feel as though some of that personal connection was lost in building up the rapport with other groups. So that actually was really hard for me. And this growing disconnect just had me really reevaluating my place in the work environment. And as I reflect on this, I often wonder now, did the people that were working when I came in a number of decades ago feel the same way I do now? I'm sure they did. So it's kind of funny to think about it. So what was the moment that made me decide to retire? It just wasn't one single thing. It was just a series of moments that built up. It was a series of feeling unhappy with different situations. I remember sitting at my desk one day and staring at my computer, and I was just realizing, do I want to continue to do this? And I'm listening to the hub and the hustle and bustle of my coworkers running around doing whatever, and I'm just staring and thinking, is this what I want to keep doing? What about the other things that I want to do in my life? I want to spend more time with my kids. They were getting big and ready to leave the house and move on with their own careers and life and move away, and I wanted to travel more with my husband. I just wanted to pursue more hobbies. I wanted more than just sitting there. And a lot of that came post-COVID. I had worked through the COVID pandemic, and we worked from home, and when we went back, I noticed a huge shift, and I just wasn't enjoying it. I just was not enjoying it. And I realized that more and more. Every day I would look to check on my pension. Is it growing? Did it go up? Did it go down? Like, became a daily thing. And it was like, this isn't healthy. Either I just leave or I just stop looking and let the markets do what they do. And I just knew, though, something had to change. It had to change. Of course, deciding to retire wasn't easy. There was lots of practical considerations, finances, where I'm going to live. And honestly, it was scary to think about the unknown. What happens after? What happens when I don't get that monthly paycheck? And all of those kind of things are a little bit unsettling. You're unsure. It's an emotional challenge to go through this process. I remember deciding, I came home and I decided this was it. I told my husband, this is the day I'm retiring. And I'm going to talk to the financial people and we're going to figure this out. But I was just done. And I booked an appointment with them, went to go see them, talked, figured it out, did lots of number crunching, and just made the decision. And there's the challenge, though, of, okay, the finances were fine, but who am I going to be then when I'm retired? What am I going to do? Am I going to do all the things I think I'm going to do that I've been dreaming about doing? And it's an emotional roller coaster, I'll be honest with you. But I guess despite all those fears, I kept coming back to, what kind of life do I want to live? And the answer was always clear. It wasn't continuing to work. It was time to retire. So what does retirement mean for me now that I've been retired for 2 years? Retirement isn't about quitting. It's not about giving up. It's about stepping into a new chapter within your life of where you want to be and exploring the things that truly matter to me. That's what retirement is for me. Doing the things that are important, that align with my values and beliefs, and enjoying time with the people I love and doing the things that I love. That's what retirement is for me. I guess if there's one thing I've learned about this process of retirement is that it's never too late to reinvent myself. And life is full of possibilities and opportunities if we're brave enough to take them. So thanks for letting me share my story about retirement. And if any part of my story resonated with you, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. Have you ever felt stuck? Have you ever considered retirement? Are you retired? How is that? Let's talk about it. But if you've enjoyed this video and want to hear more like it, hit the subscribe button, give me a thumbs up, and leave a comment. I'd love to hear from you. Until next video, thanks everyone.